This video will aim to illustrate the case study of Brazil and the effects that globalization has had on their poorest. First off, we believe it's important to define globalization. It is a process of interaction and integration among the people, companies, and governments of different nations, a process that is driven by international trade and investment and aided by information technology. This process has an effect on culture, political systems, and the economy. The development and prosperity on their human physical well-being in the societies and around the world. Globalization has always existed, but modern globalization started in the 19th century thanks to industrialization that allowed for cheap labor production of household items using the economies of scale. In the past few years, globalization has grown really quickly thanks to the development of new technologies. There has been a suggestion that globalization has an association with rising inequality and that the poor do not always gain in the shares from trade, which is due to the abundance of unskilled labor, which do not always gain from trade reform. In fact, one of the biggest concerns of globalization is the impact on the poor. Overall, globalization does not just produce winners, but losers as well among the poor.
Brazil has been a big welcoming country for immigrants in the southeast being the prime destination for many years. After the importation of African slaves in the mid-19th century, Brazil sought for European and later on Asian to work in agriculture and especially in coffee cultivation. Nowadays, most of the immigrants come from Argentina, Chile, and Andean countries. Brazil has a population of around 200 million inhabitants in July 2017, with a median age of 32 years old, and has a gross population rate of 73%. Brazil has not taken full advantage of its large working age population to develop itself, as many workers are unskilled or working in the informal market. But now its opened border has allowed to bring back some skills. The GDP is around $2.56 billion.
The first forces of globalization in Brazil were colonial forces. Although colonization is arguably different in the type and degree of exploitation and violence, they both share similarities regarding the unproportional exchange of resources and goods or services. In the 1500s, Brazil was discovered by Portugal, which led to coastal colonization, resulting in deforestation and exploitation of plantation workers, finally subsiding in 1822. With the Declaration of Independence, yet not detracting from their legacy of being the most unequal country in the world, where 34% of the population were poor. For a long time, Brazil was one of the most closed economies in the world until it underwent a period of trade and financial liberalization between 1988 and 1994, opening itself for full force to globalization, showing positive effects on their GDP as well as reducing poverty and inequality. However, its effects on the standard of living, such as health and education, are less clear, and globalization appears to have a negative impact on unemployment.
So about the future now, there are many programs initiated by the government to ensure Brazil keep moving forward. One of these programs is the Bolsa Família program, created in 2004. This social safety nets in low-income settings redistribute some of the gains from growth while contributing to higher growth. Conditional cash transfer programs like Brazil's Bolsa Família have increased school attendance by compensating poor households for the direct cost and indirect cost. Some of the specifics are, in the first place, monitoring immunization cards and the growth of development of children under the 7 years of age. In the second point, women aged between 14 and 44 must also undergo medical checks, and if they are pregnant or breastfeeding, they must attend childbirth preparation session and their health, as well as of the baby, who must be the subject of a medical follow-up. And the last point is about the all children and adolescents aged between 6 and 15 must be enrolled in a school and attend at least 85% of scheduled classes per month. Among other requirements, some critics of the program have raised concern based on the 1.7 million graduates of the program that a dependency has been created. Despite these programs, like the Bolsa Familia that uplift the population and create opportunities, are ones Brazil feels very passionate and receive lots of recognition regarding. The next step to increasing productivity for Brazil and subsequently for the poor are listed by the World Bank is to increase infrastructure, develop a complex tax system and increase regulation in public and private investment, and to increase innovation spending to stimulate a competitive economy.